The best parts of Steve Jobs' biography, the biggest app releases of the week, and a critical look at Coaster Frenzy for Android today on AppJudgment. This episode of AppJudgment is brought to you by the 2012 Ford Fiesta.
Welcome to AppJudgment, your source for mobile application news and reviews. I'm Graham Hancock.
And I'm David Prager. Now, this week, just coming out, probably the most popular book out there, it's the brand new biography, the Authorized biography of Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. You've read about 5 or more chapters of the book, or maybe 8 so far?
I'm actually about 10 chapters in, and I've gotten to the point where he started to build the Macintosh team. So the book kind of very chronologically goes through Steve Jobs' life from when he was born, or actually before he was born, how his parents met and everything, and then goes into how just the things, the experiences that shaped his worldview. And so that's the interesting stuff. That's why you would want to read a book like this, is to find out what made Steve Jobs who he was.
And I think, you know, part of the reason it's so fascinating is because not only it's clear all of his accomplishments and amazing legacy, but he's also been so secretive. And I think it's really cool that he opened himself up to someone who did over 40 interviews with him over the past 3 or 4 years to really, you know, try to explain and get behind some of what made him who he was and what, you know, created some of the qualities that enabled him to, you know, build such an empire, disrupt so many different industries, and, you know, be a perfectionist to such an extent. I'm not a big book reader. I wish I was, but this one is definitely a page turner and one that I'm going to finish off in the coming couple weeks or so.
Absolutely. Again, I'm not that far into the book, but I've read a lot and enough to know that it's already one of my favorite books. Probably ever. There's so much to take away from this, whether you liked Steve Jobs, whether you didn't like Steve Jobs. Reading this book is going to be something that is, you're going to have a lot to take away from it. So I highly recommend it. You guys should go check it out and let us know what you think. Later on in the show, Michael is going to review Coaster Frenzy for Android, but first, a quick look at some of the top mobile app releases that you clicked on over at twitter.com/appjudgment. First up, personal finance app Mint now has an iPad app. Also, the I'm Getting Arrested app for Android was developed by artist Jason Van Anden after hearing that a friend of his had been almost arrested in an Occupy Wall Street protest. You can also now sync and back up your data from Android devices without ever touching them with My Sync Center free. Take note, you will need a Windows PC for this to work.
Next up, the popular iOS platformer game League of Evil is now just 99 cents. Also, if you love chefs in your city, now you can see where they eat with Chef's Feed for iOS. Also, is Seeing Still Believing? Delete objects from photos with TouchRetouch for Android. It's worth taking a look at the video demo at this link.
So send us some of your favorite new apps for both Android and iOS on Twitter, Facebook, and in the comments below.
And of course, you can always email us at appjudgment@revision3.com. Coming up next, though, Coaster Frenzy with Michael Hand. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Our friends at Ford loaned us a 2012 Fiesta to drive around for the fall, and we've been having a ball with it so far. Ford Sync in the new Fiesta includes AppLink. Sync AppLink allows you to control apps through voice commands so you can keep your eyes on the road while doing things like skipping on to the next song on Pandora. Ford and the Sync Developer Network are working to make more apps compatible with AppLink, and we'll be sharing more info with you about the various apps in the next few months as they become available. We're really excited to be working with Ford and have them as a sponsor this week. Thanks again to Ford and the 2012 Fiesta.
Hey everybody, Michael Hand here. Now, when I'm looking for a new app, I often enjoy downloading something that just hit the market. Many times these new apps are pretty bad, but sometimes you get a glimmer of something that could be really awesome. This brings me to the app that I'm reviewing today, Coaster Frenzy. This roller coaster simulator just came out a few days ago and was inspired by a roller coaster tycoon. I used to spend hours building coasters back in the day, and Coaster Frenzy tries to emulate that aspect of the game. You start out with a green square, which I guess is grass, that you begin adding tracks to. Each tap on the screen adds a new track point. These are used to position the track and add things like loops and barrel rolls. Once you have your basic coaster outline, you can switch to the side view. Here you can set the height of the tracks and add the more thrilling aspects. When you're finished with everything, hit the coaster button to test out your design. You can stick with the side view or hop into any of the cars for the first-person view, which is by far the coolest aspect of this simulator. Everything sounds pretty good, right? Well, there are some bad aspects. Controlling the camera view while building your coaster can be pretty difficult. Oftentimes I couldn't pan around without dragging the track with me. So here's the list of pros and cons. Pros. It's a great concept and is executed pretty well. The point of view testing of the coasters is really fun, and the graphics and performance is impressive for a first-time release from a new developer. Cons. The physics of the coasters need to be more realistic. I want gravity to pull my car back down if the loop's too big. The camera views are difficult to work with and can get in the way of creating rides. And there are some major bugs. A few times the screen went completely black for no apparent reason. Overall, I'd say don't download, but keep an eye on this app. The developers say it's still in beta, so there's only room for improvement. I'd love to see things like different track types and new coaster designs. And if you don't mind being frustrated for a while, give Coaster Frenzy a try. But be careful of any vomit-inducing fun it may cause. But what do you think? Do you know any better simulators for Android? Let us know on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and revision3.com/appjudgment. I'm Michael Hand, and I'll see you soon. Bye.